Have you ever felt something off in your body and told yourself, "It's nothing, I'll be fine"? Sit down, because I need to look you in the eye and tell you something. I have lived long enough to watch people I loved brush off warnings their bodies were screaming at them, and I am not going to let that happen to you. I know 5 feelings most people your age are dismissing right now as just aging, just stress, just tiredness. They are not, and I am going to tell you exactly what they mean. The first one is chest heaviness. I do not care what you are in the middle of. You stop, not when you get to a stopping point. Not after you finish the email, or the dishes, or the conversation you are in the middle of. Right now, you put it down and you stop. I know what people expect a heart attack to feel like. They expect sharp, dramatic pain, something unmistakable, like a door slamming shut. What it actually feels like, what doctors describe as the most dangerous kind, is pressure. A heaviness sitting on your chest like a hand pressing down. A squeezing that does not release. You breathe through it, and it is still there. You shift in your chair, and it is still there. You may write it off as indigestion. You may tell yourself you ate too fast, or that you have been carrying a lot of stress lately, or that it is nothing a glass of water will not fix. Some of the people I knew said exactly that. Some of them I never got to sit across from again. Women feel it differently, and this is one of the most important things I will say in this entire video. Not the sharp chest pain people picture. Instead, nausea. An unusual tiredness that arrives from nowhere, unannounced, in the middle of the afternoon. Discomfort spreading into the back. Sometimes the jaw, sometimes the left arm. A dull ache that does not quite make sense. The symptoms that would make a man reach for the phone will, in a woman, quietly get blamed on the week she has been having. I have watched that happen. I need it to stop happening. The body is not having a bad week. The body is asking for help in the only language it has. The medical window that matters is 90 minutes. That is the target the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology set for getting treatment to a blocked artery. From the moment a doctor sees you to the moment that artery is cleared. Not 3 hours. Not this afternoon when you finish what you are doing. 90 minutes from when someone looks at you in a clinical setting, which means every minute you spend sitting with it at home, wondering whether it is serious, deciding whether to say something. That minute is coming directly out of that window. You cannot get it back. When your chest speaks, any pressure, any squeezing, any heaviness that does not belong, you call for help immediately. Not after the next commercial. Not once you have tried lying down. Now. You call someone to take you, or you call emergency services, and you go. The second feeling is a tiredness that sleep cannot fix. I raised a family on very little sleep for many years. I have known tired the way you know an old familiar ache. Expected, manageable, something you push through. What I am describing to you now is not that. It is something different in a way that is hard to explain until you feel it, and I need you to know the difference before you feel it. This tiredness arrives in the middle of doing something, not at the end of a long day when you have genuinely earned the exhaustion. In the middle, without warning, without anything to explain it. You could be walking across the kitchen. You could be in the middle of a sentence, talking to someone you love. You could be doing something you have done 1,000 times, and suddenly you are not just tired, you are completely finished. Your thinking goes slow and foggy. The words take a moment longer to arrive. Your body feels like it is asking to be switched off rather than rested. You sit down, you rest, and the rest does nothing. You sleep 8 hours, and you wake up, and it is still sitting on you. That is the sign. That right there is the thing I need you to recognize. Doctors who have dedicated their careers to understanding women's cardiac health have come to identify this kind of sudden, bone-deep, unexplained fatigue as one of the most overlooked warnings before a serious cardiac event, not a minor footnote, not something they mention once at the end of a list. One of the most overlooked warnings. The reason it gets overlooked is that it looks, from the outside, like ordinary tiredness. And the reason that is dangerous is that it is not ordinary tiredness at all. If this fatigue arrives without explanation, and stays beyond 48 hours. 48 hours, not 2 weeks, not a month, 48 hours. You contact a doctor that same day. You do not wait for the next open appointment 3 weeks from now. You call and you say, "I have been exhausted in a way that rest is not fixing, and it has lasted 2 days." That sentence will be heard. The third sign involves your vision. For this one, I am going to need your full attention. Sudden blurring in one eye, double vision appearing without any cause, a shadow or a curtain coming down over part of what you can see, as if the light changed on one side. These are not things to observe quietly from your armchair. These are not things to sleep on and reassess in the morning. A flash of lights alongside a bad headache is your pressure speaking very loudly, and it does not appreciate being ignored. These are emergencies. And I use that word knowing exactly what it asks of you. It asks you to stop what you are doing, to put aside your reluctance, to accept that your body does not send signals like this for nothing. If any visual episode like this lasts more than 5 minutes, you call emergency services. Not your neighbor, not a family member to ask their opinion on whether it sounds serious. Emergency services, because every minute between the symptom and the treatment is a minute that affects what happens after. I have heard too many people say they thought it would pass. Some of them were right, some of them were not. And the distance between those two outcomes is a distance that cannot be crossed back over. Your eyes do not deceive you. Your common sense will quietly suggest it is probably nothing. Your pride will tell you not to make a fuss over something that might go away on its own. I am asking you, no, I am telling you, do not let any of that win. Call, go, right now. I want you to share this with someone you love and subscribe. I have more to tell you every single week. The fourth sign is the one people mistake for good news. And that is the very thing that makes it dangerous. If you are losing weight without trying, your body is writing you a letter. It is not doing you a favor. It is not the metabolism you always hoped would show up one day finally arriving. It is a signal, and signals have meaning, and this one deserves your full and unhurried attention. More than 5% of your body weight gone over 6 to 12 months, without changing how you eat, without changing how much you move, without any deliberate decision on your part. That is the clinical threshold that doctors use to determine whether a weight change warrants investigation. The Merck Manual confirms it. Every major institution that studies the aging body confirms it. At 5%, your body has spent resources it should not have been spending. Something asked for those resources. Something took them. And in adults over 65, up to 1 in 5 experiences this kind of unexplained weight loss. And many of them, when asked later, said they had noticed, but told themselves it was just how getting older goes. It is not just how getting older goes. When night sweats begin arriving alongside the weight loss, you see your doctor within 2 weeks. Not because the sweats alone are the alarm, because that combination, weight coming off without reason, and nights that wake you damp and unsettled, is a combination that asks to be explained. When your appetite quietly disappears alongside it, when food stops appealing the way it used to, when you realize you have gone most of the day without thinking about eating, that letter your body wrote just became urgent. Do not file it away. Make the call. 2 weeks. That is all I am asking. I noticed these patterns in people before they noticed themselves. A slightly looser collar. A belt moved to a different notch. Trousers that fit differently through the hip. Taken one at a time, each one explains itself away. Taken together, they say something. I need you to be the one who puts them together. I need you to be the one who makes the call. The fifth sign is the one I hear dismissed most often, and it is the one I want to leave with you most carefully. One side of your body goes numb for no clear reason, not the tingling from sleeping on your arm. You know exactly what that feels like, and it dissolves the moment you move. I mean one side, suddenly, for no reason you can name, at a moment when you were sitting normally and nothing was pressing on it. And when your face and your arm tingle together on the same side at the same time, that combination is specific. That is not coincidence. That is your body sending a precise signal with a name and a risk attached to it. And I need you to take it seriously, even if it passes in 3 minutes. Doctors call it a transient ischemic attack, a temporary interruption of oxygen flow to the brain. The word transient makes it sound resolved. Like something that stopped means something that is finished. It is not finished. The 90-day risk of a full stroke following a transient ischemic attack can be as high as nearly 18%, according to the American Heart Association. Nearly 1 in 5. A 2025 analysis published in JAMA, drawing on data from over 170,000 patients across 20 countries, confirmed that the risk does not quietly disappear after those first 90 days. It stays elevated for years beyond the initial event. The episode that felt like nothing, that lasted a few minutes and then lifted, that you almost did not think was worth mentioning. That was the warning your body was able to give you. Not every body gets to give that warning twice. If an episode lasts more than 10 minutes, you call emergency services without pausing to consult anyone. And even if it passes quickly, you write down the time it started. You write down which side of your body, exactly where you felt it, exactly how long it lasted before it went. You do not continue with your mourning as if nothing happened. You do not tell yourself it was probably nothing. You see a doctor that same day, and you show them what you wrote. That piece of paper is not an overreaction. That piece of paper is exactly the information a doctor needs to help you. That knock does not always come twice. Here is what I need you to walk away knowing from everything I have just told you. Never wait until tomorrow for something that is happening in your body today. That has been true my whole life. Every person I watched wave something off and say they would get to it later. Later was not always available to them. I'm not saying this to worry you. I am saying it because it is true and because you have earned the right to know it. Get your numbers checked every year. Your pressure levels, your heart rate, your glucose, especially after 60. These are quiet numbers. They change without any feeling to warn you. You cannot act on numbers you do not have, and you will not have them unless someone measures them. Make the appointment. Keep it. Take someone with you if that makes it more likely you will go. If 2 or more of the signs I have described today arrive together, you treat it as an emergency without negotiating with yourself. You call for someone to take you. You do not drive yourself. You do not sit in the driveway and wait to see if it settles. You call someone and you go. Write your medications down. Every one of them. The name, the dose, how often. Keep that list somewhere the people around you can find it without searching. Your wallet, the refrigerator door, the drawer by the front door. It takes 10 minutes to make that list, and it can change everything for someone who is trying to help you on a day when you cannot tell them yourself. I did not live this long by ignoring what my body told me. I paid attention. I made the calls I did not want to make. I sat in waiting rooms when I was certain it would come to nothing. And sometimes it did come to nothing. And I drove home relieved. And sometimes it was something. And I was grateful beyond measure that I had not waited. And I did not share all of this, so you could nod along and forget it by the time you stand up from wherever you are sitting right now. Your body has been speaking to you. Some of what it says, you have already learned to hear. What I am asking you to do today is learn to hear these 5 things. The 5 things that most people your age are still getting wrong. Not because they are careless, but because nobody sat them down and told them plainly what they mean. I am sitting you down now. Subscribe, because everything I know, I want you to know too. And share this today, right now, before you scroll to the next thing, with someone who needs to hear it.